Hey folks, how are you? Hope you're doing well today. It's Sunday, July 26th. I'm going to do a little Sunday video, and generally what I'm going to focus on today is going through a couple of trades that happened on Friday where I wasn't really paying attention to what the tape was doing, and I took some impulsive trades. So we're going to go over those in the video slowly. So generally this is the video we're going to be watching here, tape from July 24th. And that's it. So this is what my layout looked like prior to then. Actually, over the weekend, I've decided to make a few tweaks to it. I can't really show you exactly the way it looks now, but you're going to see it tomorrow. And basically, it's going to be a little bit simpler. And the heat map is going to be on this side and a lot larger, taking up about maybe a little bit more than a third of the screen. And this chart is going to be a lot smaller and on the right side, and with different colored candles, in fact, just to match the color of this dome and everything. I also applied the strength meters in Jigsaw that are just going to help gauge certain things. So I set up two strength meters, one of them showing orders that are being pulled out of the market on either side, and one of them is just showing the overall buyer and seller strength of the market, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's get to this video here and see if we can pick up anything occurred. So let's take a look at how this price movement occurred right here. Okay, so off the open of the Nasdaq, we had some selling, which in fact broke below the low of the trading range that we were in the Nasdaq so far. Okay, and this was generally a low volume area, an area of potential demand. Okay, so what happened was we moved down to this area and we started to catch a bid off of these lows. So this is how I was trading these markets, and I was a little bit out of the loop with the market when I was putting on these trades. So what we're going to do is we're just going to watch the tape off this rally here. So you can see that we rallied off the lows above the 300. I want you to keep an eye generally on this tape right here, because this tape is going to show you the balance between the buyers and the sellers. And if you see more green than red, it means there's more buyers in control. We also want to pay attention to the aggression of either side of the market, okay? We can see when the buyers are being aggressive or when the sellers are being aggressive. So you saw that right there. A bunch of those lots came in, and that was aggressive buying to push the price over the 350s. But now that we've traded above it, you can see that we're trading back down, okay? So we're in a bit of a battle zone here, a little bit of a retrace area. One thing that I'm going to start doing is erasing these current trade numbers a lot quicker, in fact. So I changed the setting in Jigsaw so that they erase after 2 seconds or after about 5 seconds. So for example, if the price moves up and then after 5 seconds comes down to trade at the same price, the number that traded there before will be erased and will be replaced with the new amount of trades traded. Although the footprint here, which will show the volume profile for the buy and sell side, will in fact accumulate all the size traded there prior until I reset that, of course. But the point of that is I need to definitely focus on resetting these current trades a lot more, because I let the numbers kind of get all cluttered there, and that kind of reduces my view of the market. So you can see here, if you look closely, you can see that we're accumulating a bit of size around the high 40s, and now we're trading higher. So buyers are pretty aggressive, a lot of flood of buyers at this point. Look at how the sellers are answering. Just look at this action. You can see how every time we try to trade into the 40s, we get answered by more buyers, as if somebody's just sitting there holding this price up. So again, there we go again. More buyers. Nice little spike up. And you're going to see me take a short here. I don't know why I took a short in spite of the fact that I was expecting sellers to show up around this moving average, which in fact has no bearing on reality whatsoever, because you can see clearly how strong the buyers on the tape are at this point. There's no selling just yet. So buyers are clearly in control at this point. There's a bit of larger lots on the sell side, but nothing notable. Okay, there we go. The price moved lower there very briefly, but we did not see a lot of sell lots. Okay, we only saw a few of these lots come in. The majority are still buyers, meaning that the buyers are still in control. So I'm trying to get short here, trying to get filled at 52 in the face of weak selling. There's not much selling going on in this market, and it's very clear on the tape. So just look at the tape, keep watching. Sellers are not being aggressive. And then we have more buyers. So the price is going up easily on buyers, but the sellers are not answering aggressive enough to that. So look at that. It's all green. It's all green. It's all green. It's all green. So I had no reason to get short there. No reason at all. That was just completely a no-go trade. That was just like a scratch trade, that right there. That was just like a 100% mistake. I was not even reading the tape. I was not even paying attention to what was happening. Now at this point, you saw a few of those sellers come in. Okay, good. That's a start. Let's see if they get answered or not. So we're trading around this 56 here. More buyers, look at that. 25 lots, And just these 4 lots accumulating here, 3 lots, 4 lots, we're accumulating a lot of size, trading higher up to the 65s. The sellers are answering a little bit. So there we go, we have a little bit of selling answered by more buyers. So there we go. That's more selling right there, okay? So did you see that? Let's repeat that. We have 3 sell lots on the top, 4, and then a bunch. Okay, so what we went down on was basically this right here, which is nothing very notable in my opinion. You can see here we have a start of some selling, so you could consider the sellers had temporary control there. But remember, where are we pulling back to? We're pulling back to right in this general area where there was a lot of prior seller absorption around the 50 and under that in the 40s. So let's look at how the price reacts here. We had these sellers just jump in here, an impulsive sell move, and now we're trading right back above the 50s. The sellers just came in very briefly and then stopped. Let's see if we get more. So there's a little bit more, a little bit more. A little bit more selling. But again, it's not so aggressive. That's one thing you have to note. So we had the selling take place. We had a few little rounds of selling. It was nothing notable enough to keep this price pushed under the 50 mark. And you saw the buyers just defended that. And look at how this 350 here became a point of control, absorbing a lot of sellers into this price. And that is acting as temporary support at this point here. So just watch how the price is reacting. You can see here I'm short. I'm all over the place. I don't know what I'm doing at this point. Look at these buyers. Price is moving lower, but look at the buyers. Look at the buyers. They're aggressive. More buyers, more buyers, more buyers. Look at, they were getting absorbed a little bit. You got to see that on the tape a little bit. A lot of them were getting absorbed around these 55s here. But then there was just so many of them that they had to lift those offers. And here come more sellers, and there we go. That's the selling. That's more aggressive selling. So we had that pop, and you saw how quickly that happened, didn't you? Now we're trading in the 30s, and I'm getting short way too late. Way too late. Look at that. Look at that bottom tick. Absolutely horrible trading. That is just the sloppiest trading that I've ever done. Again, we're going to watch this one more time here. So again, I needed to refresh all of this because you can clearly see how we're accumulating a lot of size above the 50 mark. A lot of buyers here definitely entering above the 55s and generally above the 50 as well. So take a look at all these buys that are coming in right here. Look at all those buys. You saw that? That's just a wave of buyers, but the price didn't really move higher. So you always have to look at your volume areas from a perspective of where are we going to trade relative to that volume and what is happening on the tape relative to the volume that's already traded. So there we go. Now watch that. So we traded higher up there and then we instantly traded back down to 50. And now watch the tape right here. Sellers starting to come in. Sellers starting to come in. Look at that. Boom. Massive sweep. Those sellers answered very aggressively. And sooner or later, we had a pop from 60 all the way down to 40. Once those sellers jumped on board. And let's see if we get more. Because now, remember, these buyers that came in the 55s are trapped. And that's me trying to short at the bottom tick of the market. And that's just horrible. So we traded down there. So watch how we trade lower. A lot of selling all the way down to these 40s, brief retest, and then sooner or later we're trading all the way down into the low 30s. Now look at how the buyers are answering right around the 30s. So we trade down here, 32.50, and then boom. Flood of buyers pushing all the way back into the mid 30s, okay? And we come up all the way into the 40s, have a brief retest. It's a little bit of mixed action. We try it another time, and then we answered by more buyers. So look at those buyers right there on the tape. Very clear, lots of lots, and we need to see more of that. If the buyers want to be confirming of this, we need to see more of them showing up here to protect these 30s. So again, we traded there very briefly. And again, traders don't really want to do business down here. See, we ticked it once, traded no size down there, maybe like 1 or 2 contracts, and then instantly traded back up. Now we're trading in the high 30s, up into the 40s. Now watch these buyers here. Look at that, 46. And we're getting back into the area of the point of control. Buyers are aggressive. Look at all those buyers. We just went from 35 to 55 in maybe 30 seconds. Clearly, I wasn't reading the tape on Friday at all, because if I was reading it, I would not have entered a short position in these low 30s. This was an impulsive entry right here, 100% impulsive, purebred impulsive. And if I was patient and was actually sitting there reading it and locked in and in the zone, I would have clearly seen that there was no supply down there, but there was in fact some demand. So we tried it a couple of times. We tried it once, twice, ticked down to 31 and then moved higher. And we saw continued buying pressure, which managed to push this thing all the way back up. So that's me getting really trapped there because I didn't even have an emergency stop in the market at that point. I was not expecting that swift of a move. So that's me taking a 2R loss from just pretty much stupidity and just not being in the flow with the market. So read the tape, guys. Just read the tape. So let's forward the video now and see if we can find anything else. So the market sort of consolidated at this point. There wasn't really notable opportunity, but you can think of it from multiple perspectives, right? So after this sort of impulsive move from the 30s to the 60s, a lot of bulls kind of get on board with that idea saying, all right, here we go, second leg up. So because it looked so impulsively bullish, that's a reason why institutions can fade it a little bit more. And again, I'm just using the chart as a reference point here. Because it looks so bullish, that is the reason why it works better as a fade. So you can see how we faded back down into the range, kind of had another little bull idea here and then faded back down to sweep out those bulls who thought they were getting on board with the train because they were too optimistic, right? So once we had the sweep, so I would call this the sweep out, then we kind of consolidate and then manage to trade higher where we're supposed to eventually go. So you can see how after we manage to break out of this consolidation range, the bulls arrive and we can get a clear break up into the 380s. And I guess I don't understand these types of moves. So I guess I was just frustrated at this point. So I kept trading against the trend. We clearly just had a bull breakout of a trading range. And here I am trying to short it instead of looking for with trend entries. And it's very clear at this point because look at how the market has broken bullish out of the trading range. And here I am trying to short every little sell that comes through. So there's a little bit of selling. Let's see if it gets any follow through. So there's a bit of selling there. Buyers are kind of weak. They're not really stepping up yet. And there we go. We got a little bit more around the 83. A little bit more. They're kind of holding the price up. You see we have a lot of contracts traded down there around the 80. The buyers are kind of holding this up. You see a lot of these 3 lots keep printing. Sellers answered a little bit there. But again, they're holding the price up. We're pushing higher, more green, and it looks like I'm out of the trade. Not quite yet. Sellers are weak, not answering quite strong yet. So it's kind of weak at this point, and you can see how the tape slowed down, and then we managed to trade higher, of course, because we are in a bull trend at this point. So there was no real reason to short that. It was just me impulsively entering the market, looking to enter on any sellers that I saw showing up. And that's just an example of not reading the tape and not seeing the whole picture of the market, right? So if you just show up and start reading the tape for 3 minutes and enter a trade, in my opinion, that's not really, you're gambling. You're not reading the tape. You don't know what happened. You don't know the whole picture. That's why it's important to sit there, read the tape for the first 20, 30 minutes to really gauge the range, gauge the impulsive moves, right? And not to say you have to read the tape for the first 30 minutes and not trade at all, of course, because there was opportunity, right? Once you saw the buyers kind of get trapped on that impulsive move over here, the fade slightly started to become more likely. And when you see the odds sort of shift like that, that's when you can look to enter a trade. But until then, it's important to just sit there and read the tape. And again, a lot of this bad trading behavior came from the fact that I was just not reading it. So guys, if there's any moral of the story that I can leave from my trading this week, it's the fact that I need to spend a lot more time just sitting there being patient and reading the tape and just gauging the balance between those buyers and sellers. And that's it. Supply and demand. There's no other way to put it. So guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I'm going to edit this clip and see if I can come up with something good. I wish you guys a fantastic day. Take care. Bye.